Tonight on Grady Newsource, the latest on a major court trial in Athens where a jury has met today. A dispute with the Barrow tax official leaves collection up to the city of Winder.
Setting records for football is just obviously something I never expected to do, and so I think it's been really exciting.
And later, see how a high school football player is knocking down barriers while knocking down field goals. All this and more, live at 5.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Ethan Wells. Tonight we start with breaking news. A jury has reached a verdict in the federal trial of Akil Crumpton. I'm now joined in studio by Grady Newsource reporter Sailor Betts. Sailor, what's the verdict?
Thank you, Ethan. This afternoon, a U.S. District Court jury concluded that former UGA football player Akil Nazir Crumpton is guilty on all federal charges. Crumpton faced 2 charges in a federal trial handled by the U.S. District Court in downtown Athens. For interference with commerce by attempted robbery, Crumpton faces a maximum of 20 years in prison. For false statement during purchase of a firearm, Crumpton faces a maximum of 10 years in prison. The sentencing date will be determined by the court. Crumpton is not eligible for parole. According to the Oconee County Sheriff James A. Hale Jr., the attempted robbery occurred on March 19, 2021 at a racetrack gas station at 7921 Macon Highway. The incident led to the fatal shooting of racetrack employee Elijah Wood. A memorial for Elijah Wood still stands at the racetrack location. Melissa Hodges is the Public Affairs Director, spokesperson, and contractor for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Middle District of Georgia. I've confirmed with her that the government rested yesterday at lunchtime, and the defense put up one witness before they rested. Closing arguments began this morning at approximately 8:30 a.m. when court resumed. Oconee County Sheriff Hale Jr. has confirmed that Crumpton's trial for the murder of Elijah Wood will be handled separately by the state court at a later date. Testimony from Crumpton's former UGA teammate Jawan Taylor played a major factor in the investigation and trial. Although it's cliche, Sheriff Hale Jr. says it's true. If you see something, say something.
Know something about a crime and not say anything, it just prolongs the problem. That person continues to go about doing things, and 9 times out of 10, something else bad happens from that person after they've committed a crime like that. And in this case, it actually, followed them up to Philadelphia.
Beyond the value of eyewitness testimony, Sheriff Hale Jr. appreciates the collaboration of law enforcement across state lines. That collaboration led to Crumpton's arrest at his home in Philadelphia just 3 days short of the incident's 1-year anniversary.
Building those relationships with other law enforcement partners, with the federal government, with the FBI, with the ATF, with our state law enforcement, GBI, having those relationships before you have an incident like that are always good because you never know when you're going to need that assistance. They have tools and capabilities that we as a local agency may or may not have, so it's a force multiplier.
In a statement released by Athens U.S. District Court, U.S. Attorney Peter D. Leary said, quote, "No matter today's outcome, there is no returning Elijah Wood to his family and friends, who have had to endure both the pain of his loss and many unanswered questions." He continued with, quote, "I hope that today's verdict offers some measure of justice for Elijah Wood's family." For Grady Newsource, I'm Sailor Betts. Back to you, Ethan.
Thank you for joining us, Sailor. And now to a developing story out of Washington, D.C. The House of Representatives finally has a new speaker. Multiple sources are now reporting a few hours ago Mike Johnson was elected as the Speaker of the House. Johnson is a representative of the 4th District of Louisiana. The vote ends 3 weeks without a speaker. Georgia Representative Alston Scott was also in the running but ended up dropping out. After a disagreement that resulted in a tax collection error, Barrow County tax commissioners decided to discontinue tax collection for the city of Winder. Grady Newsource reporter Lindsay Bornhorst tells us more about the dispute.
When the property taxes were billed to the citizens of Winder last month, a stormwater fee for the city was initially lower than the typical $87 amount. As it turns out, the tax was about $66 more than the initial bill stated. Some citizens like Lucio Perar figured the mistake was due to rising costs.
Not really. I thought it was just inflation.
Because of the disagreement between the city and the county, Barrow Tax Commissioner Jessica Garrett decided to stop tax collection for the city of Winder for the first time since 1998. The city is actively recruiting for a tax administrator role. Garrett says the error was due to a mistake by the city of Winder. After the error was recognized, Garrett issued a new billing statement to about 7,000 property owners with a $55,000 difference in total.
The fee column on the original spreadsheet that they had emailed me compared to the second spreadsheet they had emailed me did not match.
The Winder mayor and city council said in a statement that this is not an isolated incident and, quote, the statement on the tax commissioner's website was false. Moving forward, Communications Director Katie Strickland says that the City of Winder has already purchased their tax management software in order to collect the stormwater fees in 2024. Both the county and the city said they want to do what is best for the citizens of Winder. Parar agreed they should do what is right for property taxpayers.
If it's for the good of the city, I think it's okay.
In Barrow County for Grady Newsource, I'm Lindsay Bornhorst.
Jackson County is one of the fastest growing counties in Georgia. Grady Newsource reporter Hadia Williams shares how the county is developing economically.
Jackson County has become a central area of growth in Georgia. Over the past 5 years, the population has grown by 24%. This has led to the expansion and growth of many organizations and businesses in the area.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a lot of more new customers that are coming in just because of the growth, yes, in Jackson County, but also just across like Atlanta and Gwinnett because it's pushing more people our direction.
The Jackson Alliance for Economic Development has become the central economic development organization for the county. Businesses, public and private, join the organization to network and bring their brand to the forefront.
We have a lot of people moving into Jackson County, and so we're seeing a lot of growth in retail and restaurants and things like that. And so kind of shifting my focus from industrial to more retail at this point. But
3 school districts within the county are also a part of the Alliance as the county pushes to generate tax revenue. In a project with SK Battery, the Alliance has generated about $3 billion for the schools.
As we get more projects, it puts more pressure on the schools, which needs more money. And so it's a balancing act there. And so we certainly look for projects that are going to maximize, revenue for our school districts.
The Alliance is continuously looking to the future of economic development within the county. Grady Newsource, Hadia Williams.
The Georgia Supreme Court ruled to uphold the current abortion law put into place under Georgia House Bill 481. Grady Newsource reporter Aiden Coulter is joining us live in the studio today after talking to UGA students on their perspective of the ruling. Thanks for joining us, Aiden.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're covering the new ruling that upheld Georgia's 6-week abortion ban. How did we get here? Just give us a little bit of context.
Yeah, absolutely. So Roe v. Wade was overturned in June of last year, which means that women do not have a right to an abortion federally. It's kind of up to state legislators to whether they want to pass those laws or not. That brings us to the Georgia House Bill 481, which means that abortion is banned for pregnancies that exceed 6 weeks. So the important part about this bill is that it was passed in 2019. That's why the Fulton County Superior Court is saying that it's unconstitutional, because in 2019 Roe v. Wade was still in effect. So it went to the Georgia Supreme Court, they overturned this decision, and they've decided that House Bill 481 actually is constitutional.
Okay, so you talked to some of the students on both sides. How did the students who are anti-abortion support the ruling?
Yeah, so I talked to the president of Students for Life. She is an anti-abortion. Their organization is anti-abortion, and she said that this was a win for anti-abortion activists. So she wishes that legislators would completely ban abortion, but this is what she had to say.
It's a step in the right direction for sure. But I do think that we still, as the pro-life movement, have a lot of work to do. I don't think that our only goal should be just to ban abortion and then just step out, but helping the foster care system, adoptions, after pregnancy, and stuff like that.
Okay, we've heard from one side. What did students on the other side have to say? How did they view this ban?
Yeah, so I talked to a member of the Students for Socialism, which is pro-abortion. They stand kind of on this other flip side of the coin. And the member said that she hopes that this Georgia ruling doesn't actually set a federal precedent. She commented on the organization's abortion rights and kind of what they think about this ruling. This is what she said.
We believe that this ban is completely undemocratic and puts many, many lives at risk. We believe that the abortion should be available to all at any time with no restrictions.
So to kind of wrap this up, the Georgia Supreme Court ruled that House Bill 481 was constitutional, and kind of overturning the Fulton County Superior Court decision. So now the bill will go back to the lower courts and they will continue to deliberate.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Aiden, and thank you for all that information. After the break, Grady Newsource reporter Alex Scott tells us how the Athens anti-discrimination movement raises awareness for policing in schools.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
The Athens anti-discrimination movement hosted a screening and panel discussion yesterday to raise awareness for policing in schools. Grady Newsource reporter Alex Scott tells us more on the story.
People gathered at the Athens Clark County Library yesterday to view a screening of On These Grounds. It depicts an incident from 2015 in Spring Valley where a student was assaulted by a school resource officer. The documentary was shown to place awareness on the severity of the school-to-prison pipeline.
What the youth want is what I try to cater to. But also in conversing with the youth, they do believe that if you had more social workers, if you had more additional support and alternatives, that might be helpful for these students.
After the screening, attendees heard from former school resource officers and educators within the school system to discuss what actions can be taken in advance to prevent incidents like this from happening. In addition to advice, attendees were also given handouts with information on how to join programs and workshops that help with these issues, as well as where they can donate to contribute to the cause.
I do feel safer inside of a building with SRO officer. They do improve and keep the environment safe inside of a school because you don't know what can happen on that day.
9 out of 10 law enforcement agencies require school resource officers to be trained in de-escalation strategies. Working alongside the Georgia Conflict Center, a local organization in Athens committed to restorative practices in schools, people were able to learn how to combat discrimination in schools and understand that there is more than one option besides violence.
The overarching goal is to let people know that it is important to have these conversations and to seek other solutions and to let the students know that we care about them.
Event coordinator Mocha Jasmine Johnson went on to say that having conversations like these can provide a variety of perspective on controversial issues in the community, and that she hopes to have events just like this one in the future. I'm Alex Scott, Grady Newsource.
The foundation for the Classic Center Arena is nearly complete. As the project ramps up, Grady Newsource reporter Joe Copshow provides an update on the arena's progress and what it could mean for the Classic City.
Soon this mess of metal and cement will look a little bit more like this. The Classic Center Arena will have 5,500 permanent seats and can be home to events that can have a capacity of 8,500. At the first engagement session for the arena, Marcus Vest said that the arena is more than a place for events.
Not just a successful arena for operations, but a successful arena that will serve the community.
The arena will generate an estimated $33 million per year, as it will serve as a space for concerts and sports, such as UGA hockey. However, the director of the music business program at UGA agreed with Vest's comment and said in a statement that he supports the arena and that it will provide a boom for the local music scene.
In the spring of 2024, just 2 years after the start of the construction of the Classic Center Arena, people will be sitting in those seats for a wide variety of events. However, before then, there is still a long way for construction to go.
Our opening target is July of 2024, and right now we've got the steel has just come in, which is very exciting. We hope to be dried in at the beginning of the year of 2024, which will allow us to start doing the interior work to be done in time.
The most recent update from J.E. Dunn Construction on the site is that most of the foundation has been built. While the focus is on getting the arena completed on schedule, there will also be a new footbridge and an expanded parking garage. Reporting from Athens for Grady Newsource, I'm Joe Copshow.
Coming up after the break, sports anchor Gabby Canan shows us the story of a high school athlete breaking barriers. Stay tuned.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please. I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Baseball is heating up as the World Series matchup between the Arizona Diamondbacks and Texas Rangers is set after both teams clinched their spot on Game 7 wins. Adolis Garcia was named the most valuable player in the ALCS with 5 home runs and 15 RBIs. Ketel Marte was named the MVP for the NLCS, making history in the process with a 16-game hitting streak in the postseason. Speaking of making history, Commerce High School senior Ivy Tolbert is the first girl to score 100 points in football in the state of Georgia. Ivy talks about the special moment when she learned about her accomplishment from her kicking coach. Let's have a listen.
I didn't know until my coach, my kicking coach, he's in the press box during the games. And so he came up to me after the game on the sideline with like 30 seconds left. And he told me, he was like, you just scored your 100th point. And I was like, oh my gosh. But it was our homecoming game against the team that I played in my first game. So I felt like it was really full circle that I got my 100th point against the same team that I got my first point.
UGA heads to Jacksonville for the annual Georgia-Florida game. Georgia is favorites in the game, but it'll be interesting to see how the Dogs play without their star tight end, Brock Bowers. That's all for sports. After the break, we're going to Kelsey Ball for the weather. I'm Gabby Canan, and you're watching Grady Newsource live at 5.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Good evening, Athens. I'm Kelsey Ball with your weekend weather report. Today, the high was 77, and tonight the low is 56. Looking at the 5-day forecast, tomorrow is the same, a high of 77 and a low of 56. The rest of the week is, as Katy Perry said, you're hot, then you're cold, with temps during the day and cold fronts at night. Looking at the weather forecast, guess who's back? Back again. The heat is back. Tell a friend. Friday, a high of 80, Saturday, a high of 83, and Sunday, a high of 82. Looking ahead to the weather in the future, I spoke with 13 WMAZ meteorologist Alex Forbes about the El Nino pattern and how it can affect our weather in the next few months. Oh my God.
It's basically driven by the temperatures in the Pacific Ocean, the equatorial Pacific Ocean, that drive our weather patterns here in the United States. So since the Pacific Ocean is warming, and it's warming fairly significantly, at least over the course of the next couple of months, that's going to mean typically cooler and wetter conditions.
That's it for this week's weather. For Grady Newsource, live at 5, I'm Kelsey Ball.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, that's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. but sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Today our digital team tried something a little new. We asked our reporters to show us behind the scenes as they covered the stories of Northeast Georgia. Grady Newsource digital producer William Daltrey shows us how this digital content was made.
We went behind the scenes with 3 reporters today as they reported for Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook. Up first was Joe Copshow, who was covering the construction progress for the Classic Center Arena.
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Copshow. I'm a Grady Newsource reporter. I'm here on top of the Classic Center parking garage. This is a little behind the scenes of kind of a day in the life. As you can see, got my tripod set up here, and we are doing a story on the construction of the hockey and multiple other uses arena here, the Classic Center Arena. So this is a little behind the scenes shot. I'm about to shoot my stand-up using this tripod and some mic.
Next was Aiden Coulter, who worked to find voices representing various points of view on the abortion ruling yesterday in Georgia.
With Grady Newsource, you have to be able to fall back and punt on your plans and cover what's important to your community. I was supposed to help our digital team post to our social media platforms, but now I'm scouting campus and other student organizations for student perspectives on yesterday's Georgia Supreme Court ruling on abortion. I'm headed back to our newsroom now, hopefully to put together some really good content for our broadcast that you guys can enjoy later. I'm Grady Newsource reporter Aiden Coulter.
And Lindsay Bornhorst went to Winder today to showcase an ongoing tax dispute and talk to citizens about the issue.
Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay and I'm out here doing a package in the city of Winder about a tax collection error that kind of left a little bit of a dispute between Barrow County and the city of Winder. So I'm just walking around talking to citizens, trying to get their thoughts on that.
That's all from the digital desk for now, but follow us out on X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and our website for more Northeast Georgia news and information.
That's all we have for you tonight on Grady Newsource. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a spectacular week.
High school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I help Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he